House in Baltimore and WNST.net. We've done a lot of talk about the Orioles this week, as well as the Pittsburgh Pirates, and of course the Nationals and the Yankees this weekend. We'll be doing plenty of baseball. The back end and the residue of the injuries to Dennis Pitta, as well as to Tavon Young last week out in Owings Mills. We got minicamp next week, but the NBA Finals winding down. We think, we don't know. It reverts back to Cleveland in Game 3. Obviously, this has been quite the little freight train that Steph Curry and the lads have put together out in the East Bay at the Oracle Arena. This guy's covering the NBA for Fox Sports, as well as now he's senior writer there, but has been very, very into this NBA playoff season. We welcome Dieter Kurtenbach back onto the program. You can follow his journey out on Twitter at @DKurtenbach. That's KURTENBACH. And what we're seeing the Golden State Warriors do here, if they can continue this freight train into Cleveland, it ain't never been done before, right, Dieter?
Yeah. I think we're going to have a very serious conversation about this Golden State Warriors team from this year, perhaps being the best single year of any NBA franchise, if they can finish off 16-0. And after 2 games, it sure looks like 16-0 is not only a possibility, but perhaps the more probable outcome.
I thought all along, if the Cavaliers win, they're going to win by 2 points at the end, and LeBron's going to do something, and maybe they will win games 3 or 4 or 5 or 6, or maybe all of them. But I felt like all along there are going to be some nights in this series, specifically out west, where they're just going to get their ass kicked. And that's what Golden State does to everyone when they want to. And I think everyone was shocked last year after the injury to Steph Curry and Oklahoma State and all that stuff that went on, that it didn't go in their direction. Even going into Game 7, they have looked possessed all year. Maybe not as much in the regular season to try to win all 80 games, but winning the 74 and then coming back this year with the way they did, I'm not shocked by this. I mean, I'm really not. They've been the best team for so long on so many nights and they were so pissed off last year and so disappointed that I really didn't give Cleveland much of a chance. I thought this thing would be a 5-game series, and now I'm beginning to wonder how Cleveland's going to steal one.
Yeah, my expectation coming into these finals were that the Warriors were going to win in 5, that we would all get in some 3-1 jokes, and then Golden State would clinch on home court in Game 5. I think it points to the larger issue, and I think a lot of people have taken umbrage with this, which is we knew last July that the Warriors were going to be playing in the finals. There weren't too many universes, there weren't too many scenarios where Golden State wasn't going to be playing for the championship. And there wasn't too many scenarios where the Cavs weren't going to be their opponent. And I think now we can even take it a step further, as you alluded to, which is not only did we think that was going to be the matchup and that came to fruition, we also didn't think it was going to be that good of a matchup. And that's also coming to fruition. And I think there's a lot of frustration for the casual NBA fan because the Warriors are that much better than even the next best team in the NBA. I still feel like the Cavs are the second best team in the NBA. I don't know what that margin is, but that's not an insignificant thing. And for the Warriors in the first 2 games to be able to go out there and just smack them without even throwing their A-plus game out there, but just, B-plus, A-minus game, 20-point wins, just taking over in a second. That's really concerning to a lot of casual fans that I've talked to. I think it has to start being a little bit concerning for the league because there's no indication that this team with Kevin Durant and Steph Curry and Klay Thompson and Draymond Green, and they'll always have a nice supporting cast of guys looking to get a ring and willing to play for minimum contracts. That's not going to go away anytime soon. These guys are in their prime, and they're going to be in their prime for a few years now.
And I can't hate on Golden State. I mean, they are the championship team. And, look, my wife has battled leukemia kind of famously. Her donor came over. We went out to Oakland. They rolled out the red carpet. They couldn't have been better people. Steve Kerr couldn't have been a better human being. Seeing him back behind. I said to my wife, I put the game on Sunday night, and I said, I'm embarrassed that I don't own a yellow T-shirt with a Rick Barry, the 1974 logo on it from back. I want to own one of those shirts. This has been the NBA team that I've been the most all in on because I like them. They're fun to watch. They don't seem like jerks by and large. I think LeBron has done enough over a decade now to make you either on his train or not on his train, and I've never been on his train from the time he took his talents to Miami. And, there's no love lost between us and Cleveland. I have found it fun to root for the Golden State Warriors and fun to try to watch them win this again.
Yeah, and the thing is, I think that there's sort of a separation that some people have made. Let's first establish that everybody's looking to be angry about something. So that's the world we live in. We have to accept that that's the reality of the scenario. But Golden State, when it was sort of a more organic thing that came out of nowhere, those first 2 years, it was a lot more exciting, I think, to people. Now that they're the established juggernaut, and then they went out and got Kevin Durant, who only makes them that much more lethal. And there have been lots of times in games 1 and 2 when you look at it and just go, oh, this is the point when the Cavs might be able to get back into it. But then they have Kevin Durant instead of Harrison Barnes out there, so they go on a 10-1 run or something like that. And the game's over just because they have that extra guy. I feel like some people have taken umbrage with that specifically. It's great basketball. It's exceptional basketball. And I find it a bit frustrating because people are, oh, well, it ruined the league. Well, maybe the rest of the league should up its game. Maybe they should take some cues from how the Warriors play, because the Warriors aren't going to always have an A-plus game. And they haven't. But the Cavaliers haven't been able to throw any kind of smoke at them that's given them any sort of a challenge in the first 2 games. The rest of the NBA certainly hasn't. And the Warriors are the high bar. We knew that going into the season. We definitely know it now. And the rest of the NBA has to step up. It's only going to make basketball better, in my opinion. And right now, there's just a lot of growing pains for everyone else in the league who hasn't figured it out.
He is Dieter Kurtenbach. He covers all things sports at Fox Sports as a senior writer there. You can also follow his journey out on Twitter at @DKurtenbach. That's KURTENBACH. So where does this leave LeBron and the Cavaliers at this point? I mean, you almost want to say, well, how can they win? Well, they got to get out on the perimeter and defend 35-foot shots and do it better and put some bodies out there and pick up some speed. And I don't know what more they can do, quite frankly, than what they've tried to do the first 2 games.
What I think that they did in the first 2 games was incorrect. And there were moments when they're not going to play with the Warriors. They're not going to be able to run with them. They cannot play the Warriors style of basketball and win. They might be able to steal a game if the Warriors just throw out a dud. But now, with them being down 2-0, they have to win 4 out of the next 5 games. If they want to play the Warriors game, and they want to bring the game to the Warriors and play at a high pace, they will lose 4 out of those next 5 games. The Warriors will win 6 or 7. It would just be so lopsided. Cleveland needs to look at the pace from game 1 and 2 and realize that their success will come from playing slowed down, grinded out isolation. They have to take away the Warriors' weapon of being able to get up and down the court, and they have to make it an alternating half-court game. There's just no 2 ways about it. LeBron is amazing. LeBron can do whatever he wants. The rest of the guys on that team can't, and that's the biggest concern. The Warriors are exploiting a Cavaliers team that's full of one-track players, guys who are specifically good at one thing. And all but one of them, Iman Shumpert's good at defense, bad at offense. Everybody else good at offense, bad at defense. What you need to do is you need to make it a 2-on-2 basketball game where you have either Kyrie Irving or Kevin Love and LeBron James getting almost the entirety of the usage for the Cavaliers on offense, and then hopefully not allowing the Warriors to run at you with tempo the other way, forcing them to really get into a lot of motions, and you can clog up a lot of lanes. You saw that in Game 2, where the Warriors turned the ball over 20 times. The Cavs were all up in those passing lanes, and the Warriors were turning the ball over, and it was making the game a little bit interesting there for a while. And it wasn't until LeBron started wearing down because of the pace of the game and just having to carry everything for that team that the Warriors were really able to open it up a bit more and get down the court the way they like to get down the court. If I'm the Cavaliers going into Game 3 on Wednesday, the biggest key, slow that game down. Turn it back into the 2015 NBA Finals when LeBron just grinded out 2 wins against a really good Warriors team.
Unlike in hockey where they're playing every other night, the scheduling of this kind of helps LeBron, doesn't it? I mean, it kind of favors Cleveland a little bit to give them, if there is an edge, a little bit of rest probably helps, especially on the coast-to-coast flights.
It absolutely should favor LeBron. It's LeBron's idea. The NBA used to have a travel day, and then they play, the next day. Now, LeBron complained about it so much for so many years when he was in Miami that Adam Silver in the last 2 years has decided we're going to add an extra travel day. It doesn't hurt anybody in any way, but we'll make sure that we have the best product out there. And every game seems a bit larger than even they did 2 years ago when everybody was just sort of scrambling to get between Golden State and Cleveland, and they never really had a chance to sort of build it up. Now you have that day of build-up where everybody's in place in the media, the team is in place, had a day to rest, and you really get a lot of spectacle for these games. But that all comes down to LeBron complaining about it. And he just complained about it for so long that Adam Silver added the extra game. I think it's great, and it's definitely not going away anytime soon. And when it comes to LeBron, I mean, he's going to have to play probably 42, 44 minutes in games 3 and 4. Home court advantage is going to be important. For some reason, the Cavs role players only shoot at home. That's weird. Can't explain it, so that's the case. And if LeBron is healthy or at least fully rested, the Cavs have as good of a shot as they're ever going to get. And it really just comes down to Game 3 and how the Cavs want to play that game. If they take Game 3, this is a series. If they lose Game 3, they're going to be booking tickets to Cancun after Game 4 because the Warriors aren't going to let that one slip away.
He is Dieter Kurtenbach out of Fox Sports, and D. Kurtenbach on Twitter, senior writer out there covering all things sports. And you tweeted about the Ohio State job and Thad Matta, and obviously Archie Miller and what went on down in Bloomington with Crean. And there's been a little bit of upheaval on the Big Ten basketball side here, even this week, right?
Yeah, it's super weird. I mean, just totally abnormal. And it's strange that Ohio State would make this move now. Gene Smith is arguably the best athletic director in the country. And for him to give Mata that much leash and then sort of pull it back by giving him a spring signing period and all this stuff, you can't be searching for a head coach at a university like Ohio State in the middle of June. The market has moved on. And I think that was the weirdest thing. I mean, Archie Miller got this great job at Indiana. It's one of those marquee jobs that everyone talks about. When it comes open, the names get ridiculous because it's Indiana and it has all this prestige. Archie Miller was a great hire for Indiana, fantastic hire for Indiana. Should have been their first choice after Brad Stevens refused to interview with them. But Archie Miller was a Thad Matta disciple, and he had been waiting at Dayton, according to people I've talked to who know him a lot better than I do, for when Thad would step down because of that back injury and because of all of the complications that came along with it, and the fact that he just wasn't the same guy, even close to it. And for him now to be at Indiana, which I characterize as a no-win job because the expectations there are, well, you have to win multiple national championships at a school that probably isn't capable of doing that anymore in this modern college basketball landscape. Now you're there. You have this uphill climb that will probably never be downhill. And then Ohio State opens up a couple of months later. It's got to sting for Archie Miller. And I have no idea where Ohio State goes. They certainly have the money. They certainly, it's one of the top 20 jobs in the country without a doubt. But they're going to the bottom of the barrel, or they're having to think way outside the box with this hire. I'm really fascinated to see how Ohio State handles this. And frankly, I kind of just feel bad for Archie Miller because, again, if he was really camping out for that Ohio State job, but didn't think it was going to come through because Thad didn't want to retire after this season, only to see him get fired. That's just a tough break, but that's the way life goes sometimes.
Dieter Kurtenbach joining us here from Fox Sports. I want to get a little baseball in with you because I know you love baseball as well, and it's not the time of the year for baseball. We got Stanley Cups going on. We got NBA Finals, especially with what you do on a national level. But we're getting up on the trading deadline 6-7 weeks from now, and from an Orioles perspective, we're not going to be the ones who are buyers. Fear the Yankees right now. I know, respect the Astros and the Nationals and these teams, especially all three of those teams out in the NL West that have played so well. But the Yankees, to me, are really the wild card. Once again, last year it's will they deal away for prospects? This year it's how seriously are they taking winning a World Series this year as opposed to building over the next 6 or 7 years?
Yeah, it would be really interesting to see how Brian Cashman plays this one. One, because I think Baltimore and Boston and maybe even the Rays and the Blue Jays are going to keep the Yankees honest in the AL East. So they can't just, like the Astros right now, are really trying to push the trade market by getting ahead of it. They're trying to go out and see what the price for a Garrett Cole is or a Jose Quintana is because they need to get a back-end starting pitcher. And so, and they're loaded with prospects, and they got like a 13.5-game lead. They're going to win that division. They can take the next 2 weeks off and still be in first place. So it's one of those things where the Astros are going for the same thing that the Yankees are going to be going for, which is, again, guys in the rotation. Both teams need to bolster the back end of that rotation in a big way if they're going to compete for the World Series. But because the Yankees and the Astros both have such great prospects, it's going to be really fascinating. We know the Astros are going to make a move. They're going to make a move. This has been their year. We saw the cover of Sports Illustrated a few years ago. They've been banking on 2017 for a while. The Yankees don't have to. They really don't have to make that move because, again, as you mentioned, they're going to be good for a couple of years now. Do they want to jeopardize that to go all in this year? That would be what you would think the New York Yankees would do. But then again, the New York Yankees just did a rebuild, and we didn't exactly think they'd do that, and it's worked out great. So maybe they stick to the plan. But it'll be really fascinating. And I think, again, it cannot be understated how much the competition in the AL East could push the Yankees to do something perhaps rash and go maybe all in on this year because they're not guaranteed to win that division even though they're playing great ball.
Hey, man, always a pleasure to check in with you. We'll be watching the NBA this week. We're going to be hating on the Pittsburgh Penguins because that's what we do here in Baltimore for the rest of the week. But we also got the Pirates coming in here, so it's a little ugly Baltimore-Pittsburgh thing here before it's all over with. But we're going to get up to Yankee Stadium, and Manny Machado is going to get asked why he's batting .220 and how good he's going to feel when he gets all that money from the Yankees in 18 months.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, after all the talk about how much money Manny Machado is going to be getting, and Manny Machado is the cream of the crop, one of the 3, 4, 5 best players in baseball. But man, I mean, he certainly doesn't look like a $400 million man to me right now.
Correct, and we got 400 more at bats to work that out this year. Dieter, great checking in, man. We'll check in again a little later on in the summer.
Absolutely, anytime. Nestor.
You got it. D. Kurtenbach is the way to find him out on Twitter. Senior writer at Fox Sports, talker/face on the mediums of the 21st century, and apparently he's tall, although I've never met him. You can find him out at Dieter Kurtenbach at Fox.com or D. Kurtenbach on Twitter. You can find me out in the Buy a Toyota Audio Vault 24 hours a day from anywhere in the world on your mobile device by downloading the TuneIn Radio app. We do come in crystal clear from anywhere in the world. I'm on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Snapchat, Instagram, and streaming live on our Facebook as well as our YouTube WNSTV channel. I will be releasing the Peter Principles later on this week. Chapters 1, 2, and 3 are already up. You can go have a read at them. I will be resharing them later on in the week and getting all the rest of the chapters together as I run you through the history of the Baltimore Orioles as owned and reported and lived with Peter Angelos over the last 24 and a half years. So we'll be doing that all summer long here at WNST.net. You can also get our morning newspaper shipped to your email inbox at 7 a.m. each and every morning. That's all powered up by Planet Fitness and PlanetFitness.com, where it's still $10 a month to get in the best shape of your life, and there's one right around the corner. Get in shape. It's bikini season. It's nice out. I see people at Ocean City now hanging out, which is good. Last but never least, breaking news happens first right here on the WNST Tech Service. That is all brought to you by Coons Ford of Security Boulevard. And Dennis Kolatzis will be here on Thursday to drive you home from 3 until 5. I am Nestor. We are WNST.net, AM 1570, and WNST Towson, Baltimore, and we never stop talking Baltimore sports.